Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Zander Insurance Countdown to Friday. It's one of our favorite episodes that we call B-Hop and Mo on the Go. Our travels take us to Riverdale, the home of the Warriors. Coach Will Kreisky was cool enough to give us a few minutes. He's actually a business ethics teacher here, so he's got a class to get to.
Business ethics.
Yeah. Not exactly sure what that means. It sounds like an oxymoron, doesn't it? Business ethics. Right? Anyway, that's not why we're here. Well, we're here to talk about your program, obviously. Started out on a good note against Ottawa.
Yes.
Big win against those guys. Kind of a skid for 3 games, but you lost by a combined 12 points. You were competitive in that. Just talk about what you learned from that little stretch of losing before you got back on the winning track against Coffee County.
Well, you know, like you said, we started out well against Ottawa. We played on that Saturday in the Middle Tennessee Classic, and then we faced Franklin. Franklin High School is coached by Donnie Webb, who does an outstanding job. I actually played for Donnie Webb back in high school.
Shut up.
Yes, I did. So I have the utmost.
And then you coached against. Oh, stop it.
Yeah. So then his first 2 games this year was Centennial against my brother, and then me in the second game.
Did he beat your brother too?
No, my brother came back last second and beat him. So he went 1-1 against us. But you know, it was a tough loss. They actually got up 21-0 on us, and then they ended up winning 27-20. Our kids played really hard. The 3 games that we've lost, we've had the ball in the final 2 minutes to have opportunity to either tie the ball game, to put it in overtime, or win the ball game. And our kids are fighting. These seniors, every interview I go on, I brag on these seniors. These seniors are doing an outstanding job. They have bought into what we're trying to do. The 3 weeks that we lost, coming back to the practice field, they come back each week hungry, ready to practice, ready to find ways to get better, to improve, so they can make it to the W's on Friday nights. Then against Blackman, we lost a tough game against Blackman. It was 17-14. We had a couple mistakes, turnovers, and penalties late that really got us. And that's what I kept preaching. All 3, if we could take away at least 1 mistake in each one of those games, it probably could have turned it into a win. But it's a learning experience.
Right.
And these kids aren't quitting. As long as we keep getting better each week, we'll have a great opportunity once we hit the playoffs.
Well, you just hit on it. To me, it's almost easier to get blown out than lose by 1 possession or by a few points, because you can just pick that apart.
Yes.
Forever.
Yes.
If we had done this, or if we hadn't done this. I mean, just talk about how much tougher it is to lose close like that, especially 3 weeks in a row.
Exactly. I told the kids, I said, we got to pull, before we play Coffee County, I said, we got to pull this one off. My wife, she's pregnant, and I told them, I said, I'm making my family miserable at home. I said, I'm going home, you know, just like you said. I mean, it was just, I would watch video and say, God, if we'd just done this, or if we, you know, wouldn't have made this mistake right here, you know. And it is tough, because you go back and you watch it, and there's just one critical call, one critical mistake you could change and go back and do. So it was tough. And the kids, you know, they took it tough too, because as we watch film together as a team on Mondays, and then Tuesdays and Wednesdays we split up. But you know, they saw it, and they took it personal when we watched their mistake.
Right.
You know, and I say it's not their fault. It's not one person's fault. It's a team's fault, and it's a coaching staff's fault. We're going to get it fixed. But this team really took it personal, and a few of them took it hard. I said, you know, like I tell you on Fridays, we got 24 hours to move on to the next one. And actually, they got on to me after the Hillsboro loss, because that Monday, I was sitting in my classroom, and a few of them come in there, and they were trying to ask me some questions, and I was being short with them. And on the way out, one of them turned around and said, Coach, don't you say you got 24 hours? I said, exactly. So yeah, so I had to quit feeling sorry for myself, and then we had to move on. But that's what we did. And like you said, the Coffee County, the kids came out with a chip on their shoulder, and they played really well, and we were really proud for them. And you know, now we got to move on. We got Warren County this week at Warren County, so that's another district matchup. So we traveled to Warren, so we're eager to get back on the field.
Speaking of traveling, I think you guys only have 1 game against Oakland at home the last 5 games.
Yes, we do. Last year, it was, you know, you signed 2-year contracts. So last year we played benefactor to that. Okay. This year now it's the opposite. So we
right.
And you know, we got Warren, and then we traveled to Siegel, who's a district opponent, crosstown rival. Then Oakland's at home, you know, a big rival game. Then we got Smyrna at Smyrna, and then we go to Cookville. So yeah.
So get a good look at it. Huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm fascinated by an assistant being elevated to head coach in the same program, from the standpoint that you were here with Ron Ade a lot before you took this program over. you know, and my perception, for the most part, when an assistant moves up, there's not necessarily anything broken with the program. So what do you change? What do you leave the same? And how do you make this Will Kreisky instead of Ron Adelot 2.0?
Exactly, and that's one of the advice Coach Adelot gave me. He said, this is your program. This is not Ron Adelot's program anymore. You do it the way you want to do it. Don't do it the way I did things. You know, you change it, whether my way was right or whether my way was wrong. Your way may be right, you know, but don't do it my way. He told me about several assistants of his that try to do it just like him, because Coach Adelot's got a big coaching tree. You know, he's been coaching for a long time, and you know, some has been successful, some hasn't, and it just all depends on how you want to do it. And you know, I come in and I want to bring the no nonsense. Let's get to work, the hard work. You know, we lost it. We were just talking about the schedule. We lost the last 3 ball games, I believe, in the 4th quarter because of mental toughness. So we've been preaching mental toughness all year long. It's starting way back in the spring. I told them we had to be more physical. We had to do a better job on defense. And if you look at our district, you've got to be a really good defensive football team if you're going to win games around here. So we wanted to preach physical and being a great defensive team. And I think we've kind of made that point, you know, with Blackman. You know, that's one thing they preach was like, man, y'all guys are physical. You know, and I take pride in that, and these kids take pride in that, you know, knowing that you're a physical ball club. We just got to turn it over to Douglas.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, I know what kind of rapport this guy has. We're in the office, and students were just walking by him. Hey, Coach K, Coach K. So he's now Coach K.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, like I asked him, I said, are you even 40 years old yet? It's like, no, I'm 34. You know, like, still, you know, he has a great rapport with the kids. I'm sure that it reflects. Now, speaking of the kids, I don't mean to dote on anybody particularly, but that Odom kid that you got, man, especially in the special teams game, this kid gives you good field position almost every single time, but he doesn't score. Am I right?
Yes, Marquel Odom, he's a great kid. Last Friday, he returned a punt for a touchdown.
For sure.
He returned the kickoff to inside Coffee County's 20. He's a dream to coach. He's one of those. If we told him this week he had to line up play guard, he would do it.
Let's not get carried. The line's pretty special.
Here we go.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just saying.
But he is a special kid. He's great. He's great in the weight room. He's great on the practice field. I was telling somebody this weekend, if he's not in running first team offense and he's on the scout team defense trying to get our offense better, if he's not on first team defense, he's on scout team offense. And what the biggest pet peeve I have with him is he don't have the offers like the Gentry Bonds. Gentry Bonds, he's earned every bit of his offers, and he's a great kid. And he's a Georgia Tech commit, and Gentry has played unbelievable for us too. But Marquel, you know, he deserves an opportunity to play at the next level.
Sure.
And I hope somebody gives him that opportunity. TSU was in here speaking with him yesterday, speaking with me about him yesterday. So he's a great kid. He can play offense, he can play defense, he can play quarterback, whatever you want to do. And he's yes, sir.
All right.
But you know, with that being said, I've been here since '09, and I've always you've covered them. I've always coached in Odom since I've been here. So next year will be different, not coaching in Odom.
Hey, you talked about Gentry Bonds, and Georgia Tech commit. He's projected on the defensive side of the ball, but he's a playmaker on offense, is he not?
Yes, Gentry, you know, he's another kid that's returned a punt for a touchdown for us. He plays receiver for us, and he goes in there and he goes get the football when the opportunity, when he presents itself, and he's good with the football in his hands. Like you said, he's an athlete. Now, he's missed last game due to, he had a little nerve issue in his shoulder, so he didn't play last week, but he should be ready to go this week. So we're looking forward to having him back, and he's another kid. He's not a real vocal leader, but he's a leader by his actions. They said Master Teague started the game against Blackman with over 22 carries, and I think Gentry was in on all 22 of those tackles. I mean, it was Master Teague versus Gentry Bonds, and Master Teague knew Gentry was there by the way he was bringing it on the defensive side.
Gotta love those matchups.
Yes, you do.
Well, that's gonna wrap it up for another edition of B-Hop and Mo on the Go right here on the Zander Insurance Countdown to Friday. Chief Winnemall says, have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next time.
Yeah, I noticed you were laughing a little too hard there when I said linemen are special, man.
Linemen are special.
Yeah, and why do you always get to drive to the B-Hop and Mo on the Go segments?
Because I know where everything is.
I guess there's truth to that. Yeah, anyway. Hey, listen, we got more when we come back. We're going to get a little bit more into this recap and review, tell you what you need to be watching for this weekend, and, of course, what you saw last week. As we go to the break here, take a look at Coffee County versus Riverdale. Stick around. We'll be right back.